to advertise conditional use hearing for PRD, which is a planned residential development, for Miranda Homes for Tuscany Estates.
Isn't it Miranda?
Miranda, tomato, Miranda.
So we're just advertising.
Advertising, so, you can tell the board
Sure.
about the determination of a, PRD. I've only been to one, so.
Yeah, so Miranda Homes has applied for a conditional use for a parcel of land, but they're asking for planned residential development approval for smaller lot sizes, lesser setbacks, etc. from the typical zoning. So customary with the conditional use procedure of the ordinance, it was discussed at the Planning Commission meeting earlier this month. Planning Commission has recommended that we hold a conditional use hearing, such that it can be discussed in the public, and then it will proceed through the conditional use and subdivision and land development approvals from there.
So
So
someone from Miranda would be present to make a presentation like I did last night.
correct. Members of the public have the opportunity to speak, and stenographers here.
Well, it needs a stenographer for that, Janice.
Yes. Testimonies taken.
Did we ever get that tripartite agreement resolved?
We're gonna talk, this meeting, the conditional use won't happen until the end of March, more than likely, because we have to advertise a certain way, so we should have our fee schedule put into effect that first Wednesday meeting, that
My
way.
question to the solicitor, would we be following the 2024 fee schedule for the PRD hearings and the applications for this? And he said, well, no, the fee schedule will be set up before that.
So we should, I mean, they're not gonna fight.
We haven't adopted our fee schedule for this year, so.
So,
Yeah.
let's put that on the agenda for the March meeting and just tell those folks what the cost is gonna be. And also, they're gonna have to put some type of escrow up front, aren't they?
Typically, yeah.
Typically.
What does conditional use mean?
Okay, I'll give you the lecture I gave last night. A conditional use is basically a souped up permitted use. Basically, uses that are usually permitted, you have permitted use is conditional use. If it's a conditional use, to say, okay, you're permitted if you reach certain things, but we'll set forth certain conditions to protect the community, protect the township.
You have an example?
Well, Tuscany Estates is by conditional use right now. So these housing plans, whether it be Scarmazzi, Highland Village, or Tuscany Estates, or
Yeah,
what
every one of them
Miranda's.
have a PRD
Yeah.
hearing.
So they're like Dennis is saying, they are approved by conditional use in certain zoning districts in Union Township. So for example, the R1 district, R2, R3, I believe are the three that permit planned residential developments as a conditional use. So the normal zoning parameters for minimum lot size and minimum front yard setback, side yard setback, those are all clearly defined in the zoning ordinance for each zoning district.
It's not like the property's not residential already, it's
Right.
just when you have a large development in Union Township, you have to go through conditional use to kind of spell out what your expectations, what exactly you're gonna be doing. You know,
Is he gonna change?
it's
So-
not changing the zoning, it's
Yeah.
already the zoning for it, but in large developments, they have to go through a hearing and set forth all of the different things that they're gonna be doing.
And the PRD gives them the ability to have smaller lot sizes and more creative layouts that aren't, half acre lots and
Or
that sort of
larger-
thing. So
Or
that they can-
larger layouts, because, yeah,
So that they can develop and preserve certain amounts of common open space and natural areas.
So he's gonna change the original plan that he submitted already, is that correct?
Miranda Homes has filed a new conditional use application that's different from the original PRD master plan, which was approved in 2000, whenever.
Yes.
So what's the difference between the new plan and the old plan?
Well, the lot layout is different. They're not proposing all of the same street alignments and things like that.
so that plan is a complex plan of single family, quads, and townhouses,
Yeah.
some of the changes might be that what here used to be townhouses and now it's gonna be quads, cause townhouses aren't as popular as they used to be, or it could be any of those, but he's changing a bit.
They're no longer doing any more common wall units.
So I don't know.
Well, I do, because that's
said.
what they said the other night at the planning commission. But
Excuse me?
my question is, I know you're going to have a hearing, well, where can we view the documents?
This
Ahead of
is,
time.
tonight's motion is to advertise, we don't have them to give you, you know what I mean,
Okay.
like.
Well, no, I
so
know, but I mean, if you have any
This
hearing,
is
the
to
documents gotta be
advertise for
available.
the hearing, and then we would have, advertise the hearing, we would have it open to the public, and of course, I'm sure some people from Tuscany will come and listen to
But we
what
can't
the.
view the documents ahead of
Yes,
time?
yes, you can. What they'll do is say, you can, it's a public record, so it's my understanding they would be able to view the documents ahead of the meeting. Excuse me?
How would we do that?
They should be down here at the
There's a
township.
copy here.
Let's make an appointment to view the doc.
Thank you.
When the advertisement comes out, I will check in, thank you.
Mhm.
Larry had a question about.
Oh, you have a question about it?
What's the status of that agreement with Quaker, Ron, and us?
You talking about snow removal?
No, the whole bit.
He's talking about the consummation agreement.
Yeah, there was escrow money involved.
Oh, the tri-party.
Yeah.
It's my understanding they haven't sold the property. It's my understanding they haven't completed the closing of the property.
That's my understanding too.
The key word, as I understood from the other night, was the closing date of the property. And they're not gonna close until after they get all the approved. Is that what they
He's
said?
I
correct.
had,
That's
I had
your
heard
correct.
stuff about DEP and erosion and settlement permit type things that have to be transferred from this person to this person, and they wanna. Yeah,
Complicated.
yeah, they don't wanna drop a dime until they get everything they want.
It's very complicated, and the completion of our community is based on that agreement and the sale of these people. And we're now out at least a minimum of 2 years before they start fixing our roads, okay?
We have an eyesore as you come in. That's Quaker.
Well, if I'm correct, didn't Tammy Stenson
Yeah,
send a notice to Clausen about being cited for that property?
there was a couple notices, but she sent him a notice that she was proceeding to the magistrates, I think earlier this week.
I
Did
saw,
you-
because that's, we
Is that
had,
what you saw, Janice?
I think so.
yeah, because,
Yeah, she sent him notice that she's taking him to the magistrates, I saw that come through the emails, like we were CC'd on it earlier in the
But
week.
we also got a big hole in our street by the one catch basin that you guys put up some cones for us, and we appreciate it greatly, but
I didn't even know
When's
the
the-
whole.
we got garbage trucks backing up into people's yards to turn around because they haven't put in the proper culverts and end of streets.
why don't you have, here's my suggestion, maybe have Puglisi take a look at it, figure out what it costs to put some type of material in there, and then we advise Mr. Clausen that if they don't do
Right,
it.
you have a sewer drain. Does the
Excuse
sewer-
me?
The sewers have to take care of that?
What?
I was up there today, we identified it when we put the original infrastructure punch list together, prior to the tri-party agreement. And there was back then, a very, very small sinkhole, as you're driving up Tuscany Estates Drive. You haven't made it to the clubhouse yet, there's an inlet there on your right-hand side, storm sewer inlet, not a sanitary inlet, or not a sanitary manhole, storm sewer inlet. And that sinkhole is now probably 1.5 feet in diameter, maybe more. It's pretty big, and there's some cones there now, but it's considerably worse than it was even last fall.
So how deep is it?
I mean, I didn't get out and measure, Dennis, but it's a couple feet.
Why don't you, my recommendation, have Puglisi figure out what it would take to go and do something. Then we communicate with Clausen saying, if you don't do A, B, C, then we're gonna take this as part of an additional expense.
It's one of those situations where they didn't put concrete around the pipe in the inlet box, so roadway material is migrated along the outside of the pipe into the box, and it's created a sinkhole right at the box. It's pretty common, sadly, but it should be addressed.
And there are 2 other instances of that haven't got any bigger, that are right on single, right there place.
Here's what I suggest, put together
Piece of that one.
put together what the problems are with the road, what the cost will be. Then we'll communicate with Klaus and say, if you don't get this done, we're going to assess this against your situation. So, you understand what I'm saying? So have Puglisi go up there, put together a list of what needs to be done, what the cost will be done, and then we correspond with Klaus and saying, this needs to be done, if it's not done, then we're going to set, take necessary steps against you.
Well, one problem I have with that is the salt agreement hasn't been,
Hasn't been paid for yet.
and it gets returned.
I don't think it got returned the last time.
Well, I think I told you he lives in West Bath Township or something like that,
I
Marianne.
think Mary Ann emailed it.
Okay.
Because I think you were saying it to different, he lives in Mariana now, I think, or where, West Bath or
I've
something.
sent it to 2 or 3 different addresses and it keeps coming back. But she emailed it, I do believe.
What you were saying,
If
Suzanne?
we don't have it, I don't think we should be incurring a lot of expenses.
No, I'm just saying, well, tell me this needs to be done, so.
We still have his bond. Wasn't there an issue with his bond?
Oh, we tried to go after his bond because of the company, I think if I'm correct, when we communicated with the company.
In the tri-party agreement, we're addressing it by that much has to come back to the township, remember?
Yeah, I do.
Alright, so are we advertising?
Yes.
Okay, so, anyone wanna make a motion to advertise for the conditional use hearing for PRD for Miranda Homes for Tuscany Estates? Any motion there?
I'll make a motion.